Hello again. So it's really sad to see the Grox just gone. I hope he creates an alternate channel. No one knows. We'll just have to keep our eyes out. And luckily, I've seen a lot of his videos, so I kind of have a good memory. But hopefully, he'll just come back. Hopefully, he'll email us or something individually as some secret account with a different email. Anyway, what I want to talk about right now is actually the Titanic and how it sunk in 1913, obviously, but what a lot of people didn't know is that it held three representatives of J.P. Morgan, Benjamin Strong, Henry Davidson, and Charles Norton, and they were actually heavily against the Federal Reserve. So one rumor is that it wasn't the real Titanic that sunk. They replaced it with the Olympic ship, which did have many faults and stuff. So all the rich people thought it was the actual Titanic, but that's just a rumor. But the fact that those three men were on the Titanic and represented J.P. Morgan and hated the idea of the Federal Reserve is not a rumor, that is a fact. So, once again, it's a conspiracy. Titanic is a conspiracy, the JFK is a conspiracy, because that's pretty much started gun control when he got shot in Dallas in the 60s. That started one of the first gun bans. Columbine is a conspiracy. A lot of people saw a third shooter. People don't talk about that, do they? Oklahoma City bombing, that was a conspiracy. They saw two people come in with, it was Timothy McVeigh came into a store with someone else. He was not by himself when he purchased these deadly weapons. The cashier remembered that Timothy McVeigh was not alone when he purchased stuff. So all the great tragedies are most likely conspiracies. Newton, Connecticut, that doctor is not a doctor. His name is even like Scar or something weird, or Slash or something creepy. Like they put names into stuff too. They name these actors. The doctor was seen directing traffic in a yellow suit. Why would a doctor be doing that? Because they're actors. So all the main stuff, and of course 9/11, are conspiracies. That the Illuminati, it's like rituals. It's not Mayans going on top of the pyramids and taking people's hearts out anymore. It's Illuminati doing these mass conspiracies, okay, to feed the Quetzalcoatl god, So I mean, just be aware of the facts. Don't believe what your teacher told you, because your teacher's not a teacher. They're not there to educate you. They're there to make you memorize stuff and fall into their system. Anyway, ending on a good note, I just got into this series called the Foxfire Books. It's about, in the 60s, a guy was in a classroom and his kids got bored, so he wanted them to do something more hands-on. So they studied and interviewed people living in the northern Appalachian Mountains. Anyway, they started printing stuff in the 70s. It got huge, and they're basically about 12 books right now of just survival in the American outdoors. Teaches you how to make a log cabin, teaches you how to make rifles, teaches you how to plant according to astrology, and that's what I want to talk about right now. Planting by the signs. You can get a Nook book that's like 70 pages on Nook, $3, but it's called Firefox Planting by the Signs. It's just that little one section of their book that you can buy alone. And it has some good information, like, how all the signs correspond to a part of the body? So the first sign is Aries, so it corresponds to the head. They're really headstrong. Taurus is the throat. They have good taste. Gemini is the shoulder and arms. The twins, two of them. Leo's the heart. Cancer is the breasts, because they're nurturing. Virgo the stomach, because of childbirth. Libra the waist, because of hips and balancing. Scorpio the groin, because they're sexual. Sagittarius for legs, because they're travelers. Capricorn the knees and bones, because they're all about structure. Aquarius rules the ankles and the third eye, so it's about direction, I guess. And Pisces is the feet. They feel all the little prickly aspects of life that most people don't. So anyway, and then it starts back to Aries. So these early Americans probably inherited it from the natives, are using cycles of the moon and signs in astrology to plant their crops. For instance, in the arms is the best time to plant your beans, so when the sun's in Gemini. And you shouldn't plant corn when the sign is in the heart. You get black spots on your grain. so the heart is Leo. It's all like these little tidbits of information that have been passed down, so I don't think they're lying. They say when the sun is in the bowels and the legs and the feet is a real good time to plant. So the bowels, it's your stomach, so Virgo. Legs is Sag, and feet is Pisces, so that's a good time to plant. And potatoes, when the sign's in the feet, even if it's on a new moon. So Pisces, even though it's on a new moon, a lot of times you're not supposed to plant on a new moon because it'll be smaller and stuff. But if you plant right before the new moon as it's growing, the plants will grow higher too. So this is ancient knowledge. What I'm really just trying to get at is us people who live out in nature aren't dumb hicks. We're actually very at one with nature and in a sense more aware of the world. Y'all are aware of your pocketbooks and your iPods and shit. We're aware of nature and what's going on around us and the natural cycle of things. So hicks, don't even use the term hick. Just use a natural outdoorsman who happens to be sunburned right here, on the back of his neck. In fact, the term redneck comes from rebels who were fighting against the government, an oppressive government, once again. Anyway, so, they believed in astrology. So, because it worked as evidence. It's not Satan, it's not the devil, they were still Christians, blah, 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 but they used the stars practically, which is what we all should do. So, let's wake up and notice the signs around us. Because even the Bible says, there's signs everywhere in Ecclesiastes and all this other stuff. So, look into it. Besides, the Bible is astrology. Just watch Zeitgeist.